What's up guys, how are y'all doing today? Today I'm going to be talking about why battery swap is a terrible idea. Literally, I don't know why people are actually talking about battery swap and why other companies are actually doing it. It is so stupid. I'm going to be providing some pointers onto why I think it's actually stupid and why it should just not be implemented at all. So before we get started, like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll get right into it. So first, I want to talk about what is the battery. A battery for an electric vehicle is like the engine for an internal combustion engine vehicle. So basically any gas diesel vehicle out there, a battery is like an engine. And so basically when you're buying a used car, you want to have a car that has a really good engine and also transmission, but mainly really good engine. When you're buying a used electric car, you want to make sure that it has a really good battery. By really good means less degradation, it can handle more charge cycles without degrading too much, it has good cooling, you know, all that type of stuff that actually comes into play. Basically, it should not have that much degradation, and it should not degrade as you're using the vehicle as much. Like the Nissan Leaf, for example, degrades really heavily. After like 4 or 5 years, the capacity of that vehicle drops to like 80%. So you lose 20% of capacity really quickly. Part of that's due to active thermal management and whatnot for the battery itself, but nonetheless, you want to make sure that you get a good battery when you're buying a used electric vehicle. So what does that mean? When you have an internal combustion engine vehicle, you want to make sure your engine is running at the top, utmost, best condition possible, so that even if you buy a brand new vehicle, that when you're gonna sell it later on, that you don't have problems, you don't have to pay extra upfront costs or anything. You want to do your bi-yearly oil changes or whatever or depending on how much you drive and whatnot. And basically you just want to make sure all the fluids are topped up, make sure that the engine is actually running at its utmost efficiency, giving you the best mileage possible. Because with an EV, it's a battery, you don't really have anything like that, like fluid checks or anything like that. So really, it's just there. And a lot of people think that a battery is like a fuel tank, but really you have to think of it like an engine. Sure, it stores energy, just like a fuel tank, but it resembles an engine more than an actual fuel tank. Like a fuel tank, you just strap on a car and there you go. You can add bigger fuel tanks, smaller fuel tanks, add it in a trunk, maybe in the cabin, whatever, depending on what your purpose is. Whereas a battery is like an engine. The entire vehicle is designed around a battery. Now let me get into why battery swap is a very bad idea. Think about it this way. You buy a new electric car, say you buy the brand new Tesla Model 3, right? The dual motor Tesla Model 3, it's what, like $50,000-$60,000. You drive it for a few thousand miles before needing a supercharger because now you're on a road trip. Instead of plugging it in and keeping that battery pack, you decide to go for the battery swap station. Now, what do you get? Your 2,000-3,000 mile old battery gets swapped in with, it could be either a brand new battery, or it could be a battery that has done over 200,000 miles that has 10% degradation. You wouldn't really want that, especially for your basically month-old Model 3. You don't want an old battery. And it's the same thing with an engine. Because electric car batteries are just like an engine in a regular vehicle, swapping a battery is like swapping an engine. So you drive up to whatever, like fuel station or whatever, and you literally take out the engine and swap it for a new one. There is a chance that whatever engine you have, you might get a better one. But there is also an even higher chance, especially if you bought a brand new car, that you will get a much older engine. Say you bought a brand new F-150. So now after like say a few thousand miles, you're like, okay, let me just try out this engine swap station. So now your brand new 2,000-3,000 mile old engine gets taken out of your car and put in, say, with a 200,000 mile engine. Same size, same power output and everything, but that engine is much more older, has less efficiency, and basically, it's just terrible. You would not want that for your brand new vehicle. It is so stupid. I don't know why people are talking about battery swap as if it's actually a good idea. It is not. And I'm not even talking about the actual financials of it, where you actually need all those battery packs just in storage. We don't even have enough battery packs to supply our current electric vehicles, let alone just sit there doing nothing. So instead of doing that, you'd rather just charge up an electric vehicle. And the biggest actual problem with actually charging up an electric vehicle is like the charge times. Like, oh my gosh, takes an hour or whatnot. Well, to be honest, these days you can get a really good, especially the modern electric vehicles, you can charge them up really quickly. Within 20, even like 30 minutes, you could pretty much get a full charge or near full charge. Obviously, the last like 20% takes forever, but almost full charge, 80% charge within 30 minutes. Most EVs. I think Model 3 does it in like 20 minutes. It takes longer for you to actually go in the convenience store, go to the washroom, and maybe grab something to eat than the car takes to charge up. That's the level we've gotten today. And that is why it's becoming irrelevant. And this is what we have today. That's just a few years of evolution of electric cars, batteries, thermal management, and whatnot, right? Imagine what will happen in the next few years. By 2025, you could charge up your entire electric car, or at least 80% of the range, and the range would be 500 miles. You can get 400 miles of charge within 10 minutes, maybe less, who knows? And then you can even advance all the way up to 2030, and now you can literally charge up your electric vehicle in 5 minutes. Except you wouldn't actually be driving. There would be like electric snake charger like that. It'll plug itself in, 5 minutes later plug itself out, the car will drive wherever you are. But that's a completely different story. So now let me ask you this. Most of you probably drive an ICE vehicle or have an ICE vehicle. Tell me this. Would you trade in your engine for a much more crappier engine? I think almost everyone would say no. Literally, probably everyone. But now you ask the question, would you trade your engine for a brand new engine? Almost everyone would say yes. Now, given the probability, 50-50 chance that you can get a new engine versus an old engine, would you take it? And I can bet you all the people that have actually not kept their engine up to maintenance spec or whatever it is, right? You know, kept the engine running well and at its utmost efficiency would probably say, yeah, I'll take the chances. And the people who took care of their engine are like, you know, literally car guys or whatever, car goes, doesn't really matter. But just people who like taking care of their car, do oil changes, check their transmission fluid, pretty much everything, check their coolant and whatnot, right? Keep their engine at the utmost efficiency. I can bet you almost every one of them would say no. So now, what you get in the end is basically a pile of shitty engines. Engines that have been pretty much destroyed and run down on. So when you do go up to that station, you're basically just swapping your shitty engine for another shittier engine. So it doesn't really make sense. And now imagine, say, okay, new engine technology, whatever comes out, right? Say something like 2 years later, oh my gosh, this engine gets like 50 miles to the gallon without hybrid system, for example, just hypothetical situation. Now, first of all, you would have to actually replace all your old engines, take them out to replace it with this new engine, and then cars would drive up, get the new engine, never go to that fueling station again, and just always plug in or, you know, literally fuel up with their nozzle and whatnot. So you will end up where you began, with a pile of shitty engines again. It just does not make financial sense at all to make pretty much battery swap station. And you can tell this, NIO is kind of struggling with that. They're not it's not a profitable thing. And I don't even think it can be a profitable thing just because how humans work. In a perfect scenario, yes, probably. But humans, we're far from perfect. Far from perfect. So in the end, you'd just be back to square one and you have a pile of shitty engines, and basically that's just waste. So overall, just keeping an engine in the car is just 100 times better than swapping an entire engine. And I'm not going to get into the actual technicalities of how hard it is to swap an engine and all that crap. I'm just talking about, think of a battery as an engine. That's all I'm trying to say. Your brand new battery, especially if you got a brand new car and you want to go to this battery swap station, you're pretty much likely going to get a pretty hefty used battery that has a lot of degradation. Also, when this happens, I don't think a lot of people are actually going to take care of their cars as much. Especially if they know, okay, they could just get another crappy battery. It's like, why take care of any car then? I'll just, you know, take crappy batteries until I get a good one and then not use it again. It's just so stupid. Humans are just not good at this type of thing. Now, obviously, maybe when you have like entire robo-taxis, yeah, then sure. But until then, no. And that's going to take a very long time. And at that time, you actually have to program it so that whichever, depending on how much degradation a battery has, basically the same sort of battery goes to similar old vehicle and whatnot. But I think that's not as big of an issue because you have no humans actually driving cars. But that's like 2050, 2060, well into the future. Right now, it's not going to work. And by then, I'm pretty sure charge times are going to be very low, and especially we'll probably have a very good battery, like a breakthrough technology or something by then, 100%. Thank you for watching. I hope you understood it. Let me know in the comments down below if my explanation or my example using an engine was actually understandable and if it was actually good. Feedback is always appreciated. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll take your leave. Peace. Because almost no one explains it like an engine, but everyone says a battery is like an engine, but no one actually explains engine replacement, right? Because they know it's a stupid idea. So why are people saying a battery replacement or swap or whatever? It's like, it's just stupid. Anyways.